This video is made for adult collectors because... uh-oh. My allergies are so bad.
Hot shot. Oh, it's the wrong one again. Won't even stand up straight. There we go. That's better.
This was the only new mold in this wave, and I gotta say, they went bang on with this guy. I've never had the original Cybertron hotshot. My local shop has one, but I haven't actually picked it up. But I did have the Legends of Cybertron one ages ago. It's broken and gone now. So this was something that was very much on my radar, not only because I'm a child of the Unicron trilogy, but also because I had the original smaller version and I always wanted a bigger one. This is Legacy Cybertron hotshot, and he looks, well, like Hotshot. It's pretty much bang on to what I remember to be Hotshot's design. It's also my favorite Hotshot design, so that's a plus. They nailed the shoulders, the doors on the arms, the way the legs are shaped, the toes that look like the back of the car even though they aren't. He is a wee bit lacking on the sculpted detail when it comes to like a modern generation's toy, but what is here is quite nice, and the paint, especially on the torso, looks super clean. I really like the shade of blue here. It's a bit darker than the Arms Micron Magnus I looked at earlier, but it's a pleasant shade, mixing really well with the dark blue plastic of the rest of the body, and that sort of like burgundy red I like. I'm not a fan of the upper shin area, specifically where the joint is. Gaps don't usually bug me, but this just looks a bit untidy from most angles. It's very strange. It's very minor, but it is strange. Every joint on this though feels nice and solid. Nothing's loose on my copy and everything stays together super well. The doors do kind of get in the way of the elbow bend a tiny bit. When you bend the elbows, they bump into the wheels and you just have to rotate them slightly. They're on 5mm pegs. You could also just take them off. The smallest nitpick, but it is something I noticed. I like his head sculpt though. It's just straight up Hotshot. Though, being Hotshot, I really wish it had like a smirk or something. He has a very neutral face, and I would love more expression on Transformers, so a smirk on this would have been very cool. The yellow on the head crest also looks like it could have used an extra coat, though. You can kind of see the dark blue peeping out underneath. He comes with his gun, and I love how they painted the little trigger bit that they would have used to fire the missile on the old one, but it is entirely see-through and hollow because there's no bottom, so the gun looks less like a gun and more like a popsicle he's holding upside down. He does have a cyber key, though, a speed planet key in red, which is funny because there's no clear red plastic on this toy, so this comes from like a complete other sprue. I'm very curious as to where this key comes from in the manufacturing process. He's also really tall, like really tall. Needlenose is a tall deluxe, and so is this. Loads of people say deluxes are getting smaller nowadays, and yes, while that is true for some, there are plenty of examples of tall deluxes out there like Needlenose, Studio Series Ratchet, Trailbreaker, just to name a few. And there are some older short deluxes like Stinger and Dark of the Moon Bumblebee and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, Hotshot is a lot taller than I was expecting him to be, and I very much enjoy his size, especially on a shelf. His shoulders are super weird though, let me show you.
So Hotshot's posing is slightly strange, and mine has a QC problem in one pretty minor area, but it is worth noting. But it's standard deluxe with some quirks. So the head is on a ball joint. He can look left and right. He can look up that far and down that far. A little bit of tilt, but not a lot. There is this little panel right here that covers the back of his head and fills in this gap, which I like. I like that that's there. But if you grab it from the back here and start messing with it, every once in a while this will pop out because it's not the most secure connection in the world. So just, you know, bear that in mind. The little winglets can fold in and out. I like them out, so I leave them out. The shoulders, this is where it gets weird. There goes my dog. So oh, okay, where was I? All right, the shoulders. The shoulders are weird. So they have a joint down here, right? You have that, which goes out about that far, and that's it. And then you have a joint at the top that goes out about that far, and it does bump into the head a bit. So they're like pseudo trigger happy shoulder. Oh, that QC thing's getting really annoying. They're like pseudo trigger happy hot rod shoulders, but they only go out about that far, and they rotate at this weird angle when they're like bent out. I wish there was a cut here to allow this portion of the shoulder to go out more, but then that would have ruined the car's silhouette. So I can kind of see why they didn't do it, but it is still awkward. It's not horrible. You can get around it once you get used to it, but it is a bit awkward. He does have bicep swivels, so they can do that. You have a 90-degree bend at the elbow, though his elbows are all the way down here, so it does look a bit funky, but like the original toy was like that, so it's fine. He does have wrist swivels, which are a little difficult to activate, but the doors are on 5mm pegs, so you can remove them, and then there you go. You can turn that joint to your heart's content. He does have a waist swivel, so you have that. the butt flap thing can move out of the way a little bit to accommodate the legs go forward. They can go back about that far. Let's see, now that the backpack's come undone. And then you can get the legs to go out that far to a full splits. You have thigh rotation, 90-degree of bend at the knee, and then he has ankle tilt, and then the toes can go forward. Now, the QC problem I have with mine, the toes. The toes fold out and stay flat, right? This one likes to flick up a lot. It'll slowly, there you go, see, it slowly just flicks itself up, and then he falls forward sometimes. So I gotta like really hold it in place and then leave it. And this is a problem that just started occurring very recently. When I first got it, it didn't do that. He didn't do that at all. I don't understand why it started, but it has started. So yeah, his toe just flicks up. But he's pretty poseable. It's just those shoulders are very strange. I really wish there was like a thing here that allowed the shoulder to move out more at this joint, and that way these pylons didn't have to move, because they're the main problem. They bump into the head, and I kind of worry because if this palm hits this paint, I don't know if it's going to chip or not. So there is that to keep in mind, but it's still pretty fun and pretty poseable for the most part. Like it's pretty standard.
So that's the robot. Other than the funky shoulders and the very see-through gun, he's great. Now let's make him a sports car. To which my car loving father looked at and went, I have no idea what the hell this is supposed to be.
So if you've had Hot Shot's original toy, you know exactly how this is going to transform, sort of. So it does the same thing. The limbs end up in the same spots, but there's some clever engineering in certain places to make it feel slightly different. So I'm going to remove the Cyberplanet key. This one does sit in quite tight, so it does worry me a bit. But one thing cool that I'm noticing now with it in my lights is notice at certain angles it glows like yellowy. That's kind of cool. I like that effect. Anyways, we're going to start by folding the head in and the backpack. So I'm going to fold the wings down, open the backpack, close that panel, rotate the head 180 degrees and fold it up, and then take this entire assembly and rotate it. Then we're going to bring these shoulders together. They will click together there. Now we'll do the legs. So this is where it becomes a little bit more interesting than the original. The legs open and then Combiner Wars in. Like that. Then you take the foot, rotate the toe in, close it up, and that's it. And I like this. I love this Combiner Wars like solution to like shifting legs down. It's such a neat thing, and I'm so glad they still use it. But then you clip the legs together, fold the back of the car down and into place. Like that. We're going to leave the windshield up for now. And then you fold the arms in and then tab them into the sides. And then you close that up. And there you have Hot Shot in his car mode. Now, if you want the Cyberplanet key look, you're going to have to open the back up, fold out the wings, and then close the back up. And then we'll put the Cyber key in. I mean, for the maximum effect, you probably put the Cyber key in first. But there you go. That's how that looks.
That's a nice and robust car. It's big too, like old Deluxe big. It also feels good. Nothing feels flimsy or flaky. Everything tabs together and is just robust. And the plastic is like very nice. It feels great. Not as dense as say Origins Jazz, but it's up there. The transparent yellow windshield, the silver Cyber key slot, the red wings, it's all very pleasant. Again, I think the yellow though could have probably used a second coat, but it's not horrible. You can see on one of my stripes there's like a little tiny faint blue line because the paint, like it needs a bit more. The giant palm lines on the front though are a bit they kind of ruin the deco of the car and its flow a bit, but I get why it's there. There's only probably one palm sprue and it's all this color and you can't change it, so we're just kind of stuck with it. I definitely recommend this. I thought it was going to be like Armada Hot Shot where it's going to be small and a little fiddly, so I wasn't excited for this when I got it. I was like, cool, a new Hot Shot. And then I opened it and it was nice and large and it feels great, transforms great, poses great minus the awkward shoulders. The build quality is great. Like the only issue I have is that little toe thing and I just need to like file a little bit down to fix it. But it's fun. If you want a new Hot Shot, this is definitely the one I think you should go for because it blows that Armada one completely out of the water. I still need the Cybertron Defense one that came out in Siege, but I am not paying $60 for it online. But that has been my look at Transformers Cybertron Hot Shot from Legacy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.